Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is CoachFury here, and we are back with our daily update of the Big Ten tournament in the CBGM, the multiplayer online league for Draft Day Sports College Basketball 21. And as you can probably see on the screen here, we are into the semi-finals of the Big Ten tournament, the 4 remaining teams. And today we're going to dive in and see who has won their games and got through to the Big Ten final, the Big Ten championship. So let's dive straight into it and see what's happened. So we'll start with the Indiana-Wisconsin game. What a crazy game this was. Indiana essentially had such a fantastic offensive output. Again, Murray Cunningham is basically leading this team, and he has been leading this team through the Big Ten tournament, really, with another fantastic performance. He looks like a real elite shooter at the college level, and I'm sure he is going to do some damage in the national tournament now, given that Indiana have got themselves into the Big Ten final. On paper, they were awesome. 51% shooting. Walker also had a very good game, very efficient game, 6 of 8, 14 points for him, and Green was very efficient at getting to the line and causing all kinds of issues in terms of the center position for Wisconsin. So congratulations to Indiana. They have gone through to the Big Ten final. It was mainly the offensive side that did the damage in this one, putting up 47 points in the first half. Pretty much meant that this team had a bit of an easier run in terms of the second half. For the Wisconsin team, I guess it's an interesting one. It's been a mixed bag season for them. A team that was probably projected to be within the top 3 or 4 of the Big Ten. Didn't do that during the regular conference play, but in the tournament managed to get themselves through to the remaining 4 teams in the semi-final. Highlights, I guess, to have are that Page, it looks like a really interesting prospect. I'm not sure whether he's going to the draft or not, but his numbers are looking better than his actual ratings at the moment, which is always a promising thing to see. Other things to point out was that Mitchell did have one great game in the Big Ten tournament. However, he's sort of proven and sort of regressed back into his sort of normal performance here, and actually had a very poor night against Indiana here. 0 of 8 and 0 of 4 from 3-point. So for Wisconsin, there's question marks, I guess, around how much of this team is sort of going to remain. How much is this going to impact them in terms of national tournament projections and seedings? But well and truly blown out by Indiana, and Indiana definitely deserved to go through in this one. There was no doubt about that. Especially when the largest lead in the game was 26 with Indiana. So congratulations to them. Wisconsin done very well to get there. Question marks probably about them in terms of longevity rather than actually this season, though. Then we move on to the remaining semi-final game, which was Maryland against Iowa. Iowa, who were sort of ranked second in the conference play, looked like they had a very strong outing in the last round of games, but unfortunately have come up trumps here. Maryland have kind of gone through and looking like a team that's in form, really, and probably going to be a dangerous team, obviously in the Big Ten final, but also in terms of the national tournament as well. Big standouts here was obviously Mark Linney again. He's looking like a tremendously interesting prospect now at this stage, given his performances in the Big Ten. 8 of 16, 7 of 12 from 3-point land, 26 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds and 2 steals, looking like a pretty good kind of off-guard player in terms of pro prospects, a good size as well. So certainly going to be very interested to see what happens with him in the future. Washington also had a very good game from the bench in 14 minutes. He put up 13 points. So it's always good if you get a bit of bench production. And again, their actual offense looked pretty good on paper. Managed to limit some of the turnovers situation down. And while that was definitely the case of it in terms of Iowa's opportunities on the other side, when you lose the turnover battle by a +10, you're always going to be struggling. And whilst the Iowa team did have an okay shooting night, I mean the bench was pretty terrible in terms of Williams and Sullivan were the main culprits there. But the actual starting 5 kind of turned up and played okay. I guess the question mark really was that basically they just could not slow Maryland's offense down, and particularly in the paint. You can see here that Maryland had 36 points in the paint, and well, I mean. That pretty much was the story of this one. Grabbing 18 points on the fast break, a +18 there, and a +14 on points in the paint, and a +10 on turnovers. Kind of means that you're always facing an uphill battle in terms of anything else that you're managing to put out on the court. I'm sure I will also look at the 4 of 9 team shooting from 3-point range, which was disappointing considering they do play a primarily 5-out offense. You can occasionally live or die by that. But I guess bright sparks are that Holmes still performed very well, and he got to the free throw line at a crazy rate, 20 of 29 from free throw. And he is going to cause all kinds of problems in the national tournament. But coming back to Maryland, very much well-deserved performance here, and have proven quite a lot of people wrong in the Big Ten in terms of their tournament results, really, to get through to the final. Question mark is going to be how far Mark Linney can probably carry this team in terms of the national tournament itself, but very well-deserved to get through to the final here. And both teams that have actually got through to the Big Ten final have put up some very interesting offensive numbers. And in terms of looking at the actual game itself, it's clearly going to be a Cunningham versus Linney affair. Whoever can basically score the most and be the most efficient, and whoever's going to basically, in my opinion, win that matchup, that 2-player matchup, is going to win this game. I think that's my take on this. Both teams are pretty showing good signs offensively. It coming into this one, I guess the question mark is going to be if either team can strategize and slow the other one down on defense as well, because neither of them are particularly great defensive units at this stage. So that brings us to a close of the Big Ten semi-finals, and we'll be back tomorrow for a bit more of an in-depth analysis of the Big Ten final for Maryland and Indiana. And congratulations to both of the coaches who are into this final, and I'm sure that is definitely going to help both of them in terms of their national tournament seedings, and going to be first blood to see who can take home the Big Ten title in this first season in the CBGM.